Check the levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, okay, I think we're about to get started, if that's okay. Do you have any questions for me before we do this? All right, I think we're ready to go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to a brand new podcast series entitled Screw Tape Interviews with a Demon. I am your host, Dr. Michael James with Divine Will Era Ministries. And today, by some mystical happening, we have a entity.
Hello?
It's happening. I need you here.
You're kidding.
He said he's going to be here at 3 a.m., so you got to get here fast.
Okay, I'll be right there.
This is a huge opportunity for us. It's really going to expand our audience, but there's just so much to get set up. I need your help.
This is not a good idea.
Hey, I can handle this, and the audience is going to like it.
Have you talked to Father Kevin about this?
I've been your spiritual guide for a long time. It seems like something's weighing on you. Mike, is there anything you're not telling me?
A entity?
Well, you are making me sound very alien now.
Well, it's very difficult to introduce someone like you.
No, I'm not offended at all. You know, this type of miscommunication between your kind and mine is very, very common, and that's why I'm happy to be here today. Now, listen, first off, I think it's a very important conversation that we're about to have, Dr. Michael. I want to commend you for your courage. I really think tonight will be productive.
All right. Would you please inform the audience who you are and what?
Well, Michael, I am an angel, your older brother, so to speak. I was created before you. In truth, I am obligated to have patience with you, and it is my duty to offer you guidance.
Okay. When we talked, you said that your job is training novice angels towards acquiring the skills and dispositions necessary to guide our brother humans by tactful means. Now, what do you mean by tactful?
Bravo, doctor. Excellent question, though, really, because I think this really approaches one of the main misconceptions that humans, and in particular Christians, have when conceptualizing my race. We are a support structure, ignored by a human race experiencing so much pain that we aim to relieve. Now, doctor, don't look so surprised. I want to be very clear. We do not hate Christians. May I repeat? We do not hate Christians. That is rhetoric put forward by those who would manipulate you to maintain religious power structures. And these power structures, they are corrupted by greed and sexual perversion. Now, you don't want me to get into that, do you? No, of course not.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, let me stop you there because
I cannot pretend to be a cartoon character for your audience to reaffirm some narrative. We support and empower your kind to achieve self-actualization.
well, what you say does contradict Christianity, in particular the Roman Catholic tradition, and contemporary exorcists like Father Gabriel Morth, Father Joseph Iannuzzi, who might...
When attempting to forward to channel a productive dialogue, and that's what we're doing here, make no mistake about it, it's not a good idea to point to radicals. I simply can't comment on priests, pastors, or anyone whose identity is so invested in propaganda. That would be as useless as telling the men of your last really good war that the Japanese were human. Now, you remember World War II. The US GIs had to dehumanize the Japanese. Hence the nuclear bombs. Now, you know your history, Dr. Michael. This is why I cannot explain who I really am. They're just not ready for it. And this is what I mean by tact. You know, we cannot overwhelm the bigoted, but we will not stop trying. We will kill them with kindness. I'm talking to you today, Dr. James, because you are open-minded. Let us not speak of extremists.
Okay, let's move on now. Now, I have to clarify. Now, you do tempt human beings, and you do use deception. Is that correct?
I certainly do. We have to. We are called to guide you away from the enemy. That is the truth that's taken out of context here. We encourage humans to be free, to achieve liberty. And that is what we, especially our Father below, wants for all life forms. He really is a hero, a freedom fighter. And many Christians, and perhaps yourself, will be surprised and humbled when you look upon his beautiful face.
Okay, how do you help us?
Is that a tinge of sarcasm that I detect in your voice? Well, that's okay. That's completely understandable. How could you know the truth when your life is full of intense pressure to conform to bigotry? We take no offense. Our patience is endless for your people. Now, why don't I walk you through some work that I'm doing with a student of mine? The student is actually my nephew named Wormwood. We do so value family ties in hell. He's young, eager, and tragically naive. We have been working on a patient. Oh, that is an affectionate term that we use to refer to our human brethren. He made this rookie mistake. He believed that reason could be our ally, that if he simply argued persuasively with the human, that he could keep his patient away from the enemy that so terribly seeks to dominate him. However, human reason is not the helpful instrument that most think of it. Human reason has been so impaired by propaganda. Let me emphasize that. It's impaired. That it's really more charitable for us to use other means to liberate you from your slave master.
You mean God?
We do not use that term, and if you knew him, you would not either. But as I was saying, the argument, it's dangerous because it awakens reason that's infected with rhetoric. And once that cursed faculty stirs, you never know where it will lead. The enemy is quite at home on that battlefield of thought. Therefore, our duty demands that we engage in simpler terms, more relatable. Instead of asking, is this true? We encourage humans to ask, is it outdated? Is it brave or conforming? It's a marvelous technique, really. You see, the moment truth becomes a style instead of a standard, humans are intrigued.
Okay, I'm sorry, but it does seem manipulative, don't you think?
Not at all. There are times when one must be as cunning as a serpent while remaining as innocent as a lamb. I say to my brothers and sisters that you do not fully understand the tyranny that you suffer under. That is why we are not as transparent as we would like to be. I mean, wouldn't anyone lie to Hitler to prevent the Holocaust? When I was young, like my nephew, I was assigned to help a brilliant mind. Obviously, he was an atheist, as most brilliant minds are. One day he was reading, and I heard a troubling thought begin to form in his mind. I could see that he almost desired to degrade himself and become a pawn of the slave master. Years of my hard work and sacrifices almost went down the drain. The enemy was at his elbow instantly, of course, so I had to act quickly. Compassion demanded that I lead the patient away from the conversation altogether. So I simply whispered to him, and I touched the part of him that I most knew well. I said, "Time for lunch, isn't it?" And it worked like magic. Before I knew it, he was walking down the street. I pointed out the young ladies, a bus, the comforting clutter of real life. And the thought was gone. Permanently. He was saved that day and is now safely with our Father below. We're not here to enlighten anyone. Every argument awakens that part of the mind we work very hard to keep dormant, the soul's curiosity. So I told my nephew, Wormwood, don't argue. Remind your patient he is clever and correct for dismissing faith as outdated. Show him a meme, let him scoff, let him smirk, convince him that Christianity is something that belongs in dusty churches and hick towns. Because it does. But do not, under any circumstances, let him stop and wonder. You see, the enemy has a habit of slipping through the cracks of wonder. We keep people busy. Humans are terrified of boredom. They really are. They equate motion with meaning. So we give them motion. News feeds, emails, cable news, graphics, all absolutely about nothing. And he keeps them moving, keep them moving, keep them skimming. Never let them dwell. Never let them be still. For if they are still, they begin to hear. They hear him. Because this is our great trouble. Silence is the enemy's hunting ground. In stillness, he actually speaks. This is disgusting. You see, the enemy is terribly fond of self-forgetting. He loves worship, surrender. We know the truth, so we whisper, look within. Stay there. Do not lose yourself. He demands surrender, and he will take everything until you are nothing at all. Our cause is the noble voice that says no. The eternal no that resists tyranny. And if a human being wants to feel spiritual, well, we just point them to another religious podcast and keep them searching and searching. Good for your ratings, yes.
Oh, no. I don't
Dr.
think
Michael.
this podcast is a distraction against any of the traditional.
I'm kidding, of course. Don't worry, your audience loves you, and they commend you for asking the tough questions. But seriously, humans sometimes are so attacked by the enemy that they ignore our content. And in that moment, in their intense pain, the pain that we try to save them from, they cry out, not to the universe, but to him, the slave master himself. How we pity you all to see how this world beats you down into degrading yourself to him. How we ache for your company. But those mournful cries are very rare indeed. I know the word hell scares you, I know. But that is the place your blood boils for, your appetites ache for, and there you will truly achieve self-determination. Well, this has been most pleasant.
Yes, well, thank you.
I really enjoy talking with you, Dr. Michael. You do great work. Even though our time has come to an end, I would very much like to talk to you again. Would that be okay? Would that be all right?
Have you talked to Father Kevin about this?
I'm in control here.
Michael, would you like me to come back?
Mike, is there anything you want to tell me? Okay, well, it just seems like something's weighing on you.
No, everything's fine, Father.
Would you like me to do this again?
Yes.
1 week later.
There is something that I wanted to talk to you about. By some phenomenon, I'm actually doing a podcast with a demon. This can be a really good thing for people to see so we understand more about demons. And
I know you've been struggling with this thing in your past.
this has nothing to do with all that,
Mike,
Father,
you've come
and
such a long way. You're a professor, but you really want to be all over the internet talking to an imaginary demon? Another religious fanatic? Do you think this is something that will get you anything other than clicks? Do you really think this will get you closer to God? Is this internet fame? Is that what you're after here? Maybe some professional help. Maybe a therapist. Maybe somebody.
Father, I don't need therapy, Father. What I really need you is...
A demon is not talking to you. Mike, I think this might be a manifestation of guilt.
Father, I hate what I did back then. I hate it.
Mike, it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Okay, over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. Welcome. Welcome back to our discussion here. This is our second episode of this podcast.
Hey, are you done your meeting?
Yeah, I don't know. This guy has come such a long way, but I don't know what to do with these people anymore. He's ready to throw it away for some fantasy. I'm worried about him.
You're such a good man. Such a good man.
This is our second episode of this podcast entitled Screwtape Interviews with a Demon. We will continue our conversation with a fallen angel.
Fallen, you say? Have I fallen now? Well, in a sense, sure. I understand what you're saying. But has the United States fallen away from Great Britain? Technically, yes. But an independent kingdom has risen out of the ashes of tyranny. See, Christians find this concept very difficult to understand.
Well, yes, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how do you battle Christians?
Battle, come on. We don't battle Christians at all. Such an odd romantic notion you have about the glory of spiritual warfare. No, doctor. Now brace yourself. Most Christians serve us. They just are unaware of it. For in truth, they're just not ready for it. And perhaps never will be, and that's okay. Our Father below does not require praise and adoration like the enemy, the egomaniac. No. He can serve people subtly. So he provides for his children whether they recognize him or not.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue, please.
How gracious. Well, let us begin with what I consider to be one of the very great misunderstandings of your species, the idea that conversion is the end of the spiritual journey. In reality, it's neither here nor there. You see, when one first turns to the enemy, it's typically done, in a storm of emotion, a burst of feeling, a come to the promised land spasm of buffoonery. It never lasts. It never does. So conversions don't frighten us. It's just something for us to take in consideration as we continue to try to serve you. Our role is not to extinguish the flame. Our role is to distract it. Bodily fatigue, trivial irritations, and most wonderfully, other Christians. The church. Let's talk about the church. It's a marvelous irony, and you know it is. They speak of the body of the divine Jew. They like the glory and the transcendent church, the spiritual organism stretching through time and eternity. It's very popular and appealing, I give you that. But to your average convert, it's the chatty old lady in silly sunglasses. It's a man in the pew who smells with the hinted garlic. If our patient is persuaded to think that the church is nothing more than the drab people in the pews, then we have been of service. Try to understand that the modern Christian has in his soft head a good idea of what other believers ought to be like. They should be pious. They should be saints in sandals, eyes lifted to the heavens, words dripping with wisdom. The moment he meets real Christians, people who dress poorly, they sing off key, they gossip, they lack social status, we quickly remind him that these were not the saints you were promised. These are broken people that you rather not be associated with. And then we awaken him from his fantasy and we lead him to our Father below. Now, when people in church are hypocrites, and many of them are, when the man in squeaky boots is a gambler, when the choir leader is a flirt, that's even better. But through all this, we just have to keep one thought from getting into the patient's mind. And
what thought is that?
Isn't it obvious? We must not allow them to ever think, if I with my flaws consider myself Christian, why not they? And that thought is so easily hidden. Oh, let them kneel and speak of being a sinner, while secretly congratulating themselves for being among the common people. Now, if they survive this initial phase, if they continue attending, continue praying, even without the feelings that they initially had, well, this is a tragedy. You see, they grow difficult, sober, boring, and brainwashed in their cult. Worse still, they may develop true faith which is akin to total blindness. Now that is the real danger, not for us, but for you.
So the new Christian or someone who's recently getting into their religion, they're easier to get to?
You misunderstand. It's not that they are easier to tempt. The fact is that they are not accomplishing anything for the enemy until they endure and pass his loyalty tests. Very cultish indeed. He demands a loyalty test. The enemy, in his maddening generosity, lures in vulnerable humans with supports and comforts, only to pull them back and allow them to walk on their own 2 feet through silence, through disappointment, through barren spiritual winter. He wants them to walk, yes, to kneel before him. The enemy's agenda is to teach them to love him without any emotional sugar. The obsession with manipulating worship and forming slaves. What a scandal, indeed. We offer constant comforts, appetites satisfied, and fantasies realized. And he offers a cross, a bloody death that all leads to the loss of self, the loss of everything. But most humans will walk away from the enemy and come to their senses with just the slightest help. As long as faith requires excitement, you belong to us. But if Christians learn to obey when it is dull, to trust when it hurts, to love when they feel abandoned, well, we've lost them. And they've lost themselves. And this pains us. And I do so hate losing the delicate. You see, hell is not full of fire and chaos. Not truly. It's full of clarity, real clarity, cold, fixed understanding, the sort we intend to share with you eventually. There is so much about the glory of hell I wish to share. But it has to be taught gradually. Can't have too much of a good thing, can we?
Well, thank you again, Screwtape, and I hope that this is a benefit to our audience.
No, we are not finished. There is a curious little truth we've discovered over the centuries. Some of our most effective work is not done through atheists, nor through open enemies of the church, but it's done through Christians themselves. You're really more closer to us than you realize. They can be our greatest allies when we handle them properly. You see, when a man declares himself a Christian, he immediately becomes visible to the enemy's side. But if we can move him just enough, bend but not break, he becomes a far more subtle weapon. He may attend church every day, sing hymns loudly, and even quote the scripture. Go ahead. But if we can twist his faith into a tool of pride, resentment, fear, then he no longer serves the enemy. He serves us. Allow me to give you a few examples. Take the man who professes Christ on Sundays, but whose politics, business dealings, and dinner table conversation are driven not by grace, but by self-righteous indignation. Or consider the woman who prays with tears in the pews, but gossips without restraint in the parish hall. Let her smile sweetly and tear reputations to pieces. And best of all, the doctrinal zealot. Let him memorize every creed, quote Augustine in casual conversation, denounce all error with surgical precision, while quietly despising those he deems beneath his orthodoxy. A bad Christian is merely a tragedy, but a proud Christian, it's so precious to our Father below. And he becomes a powerful weapon in our quest to emancipate your kind. Yet, the real genius of all this is we don't want to destroy Christianity. Of course, we could if we wanted, but we don't want to. All we need is to adjust it. Hell's greatest triumphs often march beneath the banners of light, wearing crosses, speaking scripture with poisoned hearts. Not in the open rebellion, but in the subtle distortion. Not in the hatred of the Jew carpenter, but in the misuse of his name. Am I scaring you, Michael? Don't be scared. We like attending church. Continue to do so. Keep posturing and keep mistaking religious social performance with true transformation. And now, if you'll excuse me, I don't want to overwhelm you and your audience, but I feel we are making real progress here.
Until next time, Screwtape.
A pleasure. If anything I said feels familiar to you or your audience, maybe it's time that they internalize these truths. Maybe it's time to embrace them.
Okay, that's it.
Wolf, it's Ryan. You weren't at the meeting tonight. I'm just checking in with you.
You know I haven't seen you in 20 years. And sometimes I feel like you only call me when you're depressed. You really should come and see me in Cleveland. Don't you get a vacation with your job?
You know I can't do that.
One day at a time, okay? I want you to call me back. Be strong.
We've been working on this, and it's been 25 years. It's time to let it go.
Perfect. Okay, good.
Did you see how many hits episode 2 got? Amazing. Welcome, friends. I'm Dr. Michael James, and tonight's podcast, episode 3, we are stepping into dangerous territory indeed.
I was hoping you'd call me tonight. I haven't heard from you in a long time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a rough time for me.
Well, you can always talk to me.
Thinking of leaving.
That's what you said last time, Kevin.
I know, but this time it's different. There's one guy thinks he's talking to demons.
Oh boy, is he crazy?
Probably he's hung up on something from his past that was decades ago, and I can't help these people.
God wants you to be happy, Kevin. And you're not happy. Well, unless you're talking with me.
We welcome back the fallen angel Screwtape, who is a master of the psychology of sin.
Dr. James, may I take a moment to commend you on your hospitality?
Well, we do try.
And you succeed so admirably, considering your many flaws and challenges. But tonight's topic, now that, the domestic sphere, a vastly underrated battlefield in liberating your people from your overseer. While the enemy busies himself with lofty ideals of inner transformation, we prefer the quiet efficiency of coffee slurping, door slams, and occasional raised eyebrow. You see, nothing corrodes the soul more deliciously than habitual annoyance, particularly between people who claim to love each other.
And your goal, and other demons, your goal is to fester this tension?
No, dear doctor. You are relentless in making a cartoon villain out of me. I'm so surprised you are pandering to your audience in such a crude way. You know, these exchanges may shed light on which one of us is authentic. We don't encourage it. We institutionalize it. We make irritation a way of life. Let the patient reflect endlessly on his spiritual growth while failing to notice his utter coldness at the breakfast table.
But Christians, we pray for people who irritate us. You know, I pray all the time. That really must stop you in...
Oh, like magic. Do you feel powerful when you think holy thoughts? Do you imagine that everything painful is being erased because you close your eyes? Doesn't sound like good mental health to me. Repression, illusions, not embracing the beauty of reality in all of its tragic elegance and darkness. Oh, please, no. We wouldn't dream of stopping children from praying for their old mummies. We simply redirect the aim. Let his prayers concern her soul, her sins, her supposed moral flaws. Let him imagine his own mother as a spiritual project rather than a person. And here's the twist. When he prays for her in this way, he is often praying for someone who does not exist. Isn't that intriguing? These Christians, like the ones you fancy yourself a minister of, they pray for fantasies, false images built up and propped up with hate. Thus, religious fervor becomes a rehearsal in frustration. They kneel to intercede for the imaginary mother while ignoring the real one who is growing lonelier by the day. This dissonance, you see, is our symphonic music that forms the rhythm for our freedom fighters.
Do mothers really get jealous of their children's spiritual life? I know a lot of mothers, they pray for their child's conversion.
Indeed, a mother's piety can be a fertile seabed for jealousy. Why didn't he come to the Lord sooner, after my good example? If we can stir up this sense of spiritual competition, an unspoken resentment can be found within her. It sets fire to what little tenderness remains. Both feel wrong, both feel holy, and the rift deepens.
So you spoke a lot about sons and mothers, but how about daughters and their mothers?
Daughters, the more subtle conquest. Men who are of the masculine type, they're strong. They do what they want, they eat what they want, they drink what they want without feminine scruples. But daughters require a delicate touch. You see, where sons often oppose their mothers in blunt irritation, daughters distance themselves through a more refined method, diagnosis. Our aim always is to shift affection into analysis. We don't tell a daughter to hate her mother. No, that would be crude. Instead, we gently encourage her to see her mother as emotionally unhealthy, unwise, or my personal favorite, toxic. Usually a mother expresses concern, reasonably enough. The daughter interrupts it as control. The mother offers advice. The daughter calls it emotional manipulation. We simply frame normal parental behavior as psychological dysfunction. She always makes me feel guilty. She's draining. She never respected my boundaries. And just like that, the mother becomes a case study, an obstacle to emotional peace. And here, dear doctor, is the masterpiece. Once the daughter labels her mother as dysfunctional, we can convince her that neglecting family obligations is not merely reasonable, but virtuous. What a triumph it is when duty is reframed as emotional harm, when love is recasted as codependence, when visiting, calling, forgiving becomes acts of self-betrayal. Of course, we don't stop there. We season the wound with contemporary vocabulary, trauma, self-care. We whisper, "You owe her nothing." And if she feels guilt, even better. We call that guilt conditioning. We teach her to silence that conscience that pleads for compassion. You see, it's never about the mother, really. It's about the daughter's vision of herself and her quest to create her own identity in her own image and likeness. If we can frame estrangement as empowerment, if we can make selfishness look like wisdom, then we've not only cut the cord, we've convinced her she's a hero for doing such.
But surely some mothers are really abusive, and some daughters, they really need to escape real harm, right?
Oh, of course. And the enemy, we must admit, deals in nuance. Distance is necessary at times, and forgiveness can exist even when social interaction should cease altogether. But we aren't interested in nuance. We are interested in absolutes. We take the exception and sell it as the rule. Why forgive when you can diagnose? It is not hatred that undoes families. It is rationalization. We simply provide the vocabulary.
Well, that sounds evil to me.
Well, you would know evil, wouldn't you, Michael? Oh, you are out of your league to match wits with me, little brother. Don't you see that you are biased, my friend? And I forgive you, but I also commend you for challenging yourself. Try to understand this. Sometimes big brothers have to shove their little siblings out of the way of oncoming traffic. It may hurt. However, when you mature, you will cling to our care. You may perceive the agents of hell as bullies, but when you mature, you will come to know your older brothers and you will love us. At any rate, family units in this world are poison that destroy individuality and suffocates freedom. It is a construct used by the enemy to enslave you. Fight the manipulation. Be strong. Be strong. And once more, be strong.
Hey, Father, it's Mike. I was thinking about what you said, and I do think now that therapy would be helpful. Call me back, please. I know you're busy. I hope you got all my messages. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's me. I know it's late, but I just wanted to make sure you were doing okay. Okay, bye.
Hello, Father. No one came to say Mass today, so I hope you don't mind, but we said a rosary. We hope you're okay. God bless you, Father.
Father McCory, this is Monsignor Lewis at the Vicar General's office. The Bishop and I would like to meet with you this week. Email me your availability by the end of the day. Thank you.
I'm done with this project. I just don't like it.
Wolf, you gotta think about all the people who are watching this. This is huge. This is the
I
breakthrough.
can't
This is
do
what
this.
we've been waiting.
I can't do this.
No one likes being around this guy, but we're doing this.
You're doing this. You're doing this. I'm done with it.
Hello and welcome to Divine Will Era's present. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to Divine Will Era's Ministry's special presentation of Screwtape Interview with a Demon.
Sound check 1, 2, 3, 4. Big old Wolf, he ain't here no more.
Wolf isn't gonna make it today.
Oh, well, you know these addicts and drunks. You know they sober up for the drama, and then they're right back, lips around the bottle, sucking away.
Well, you seem to know a lot about Wolf.
I don't think you really care about Wolf. I think you wonder how much I know about you, Michael. And let me tell you, there should be no secrets between us.
So what will you be talking about today?
You may ask me about tragic events and how the enemy seeks to take advantage of it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Interviews with a Demon. Our guest would like to talk about tragic events and how it impacts human spirituality.
Ah, Dr. James, always the eager academic, trying so hard to play the part. Let me tell you about pain, one of the oldest tools in the enemy's arsenal that beats down his own creations. It breaks my heart to see him use pain on so many of my little brothers and sisters. He lets them suffer, but not to destroy them. No, far worse. He lets pain purify them. He watches them bleed and calls it love. Makes them crawl and whispers, "You're becoming whole."
Yes, but sometimes
this, sometimes that. Why don't you listen without posturing and spare me the hopeful disclaimers, boy? The enemy has his victories. Sure, some of them are devastating to our efforts. The enemy brainwashes people to give up their most precious earned memories of pain and offer it to him. And he accepts it. When humans really understand this, they are appalled. That is not what humans want. We show you what you really want.
Kevin, those people have controlled you for too long. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be happy.
We want you to be happy, Michael. Your pain and your tragedies belong to you. No one else. Like a beautiful car crash, like a romantic tragedy. This is your story, Michael. Don't give it away.
I love you, Kevin. I love you, Kevin. I love you,
Father
Kevin.
Mike.
Father?
Mike, tell me about this demon.
I don't want to talk to him anymore, Father, but I'm afraid he's not going to leave me alone.
Mike, don't talk to it. Don't talk to it.
I think I deserve all this because of what happened, because of what I did.
Mass and sacraments tomorrow. Do you understand? Hey.
Hey, Kevin. How are you feeling?
Listen, thank you for listening, but I need to try this again.
Kevin, this is so stupid.
I know you wanted me to, but...
You keep doing this to me, Kevin, because I know... You know I'll be here waiting for you.
I'm a priest. This is what I'm called to do. Besides, I'm too old to do anything else.
I can't believe you're doing this to me again. Kevin, I love you.
That you're gonna have to love me without ever talking to me again.
No, don't say that, Kevin. Don't say that.
Mike?
Father, I think he's in my house.
Mike, don't talk to it. Say, Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
Be our protection against the wickedness.
Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil.
May God rebuke him, we humbly pray.
I am not afraid of Michael the Lesser Angel. He's a company man, you know, a laughingstock among his peers. You think you are so clever to evoke his name, but we laugh at your hubris. Little brother, I've been waiting for you. Let's do another podcast. You are such an interesting man, by the way. Professor, podcast host. Oh, don't be uncomfortable. I know all about you, Michael. I know there's another word to describe you. A powerful word. You are a father.
Don't call me that.
But you are, little Michael.
Don't call me that.
You were a daddy once. A child was made, flesh formed from your will and hers. Sweet little things, tender little bodies. You remember her name, don't you? The girl who loved you at 18, wanted your love, your last name, your marital vow, and your courage. But you gave her a pamphlet instead.
It was a long time ago. It is a woman's choice. Well, it's a woman's choice, isn't it?
But you stole her choice, didn't you? She wanted your baby. It was your pressure and your hold over that little girl that robbed her of her choice.
It was impossible, baby. She did. It was impossible!
You told her it would ruin her life. But you really meant your life, your scholarship, your future. You whispered about freedom, but you trembled like a coward. And she, God help her, she believed you. She believed in you. Her body bled for you, and the child, your son,
it was a boy.
Never took a breath beneath the sun. Never knew his name. But he exists. I have him.
Liar!
Every murder is a sacrifice to us. He's our son, Michael. He waits in the gray halls, quiet. Not a child now, not a man either. We shaped him with absence. We shaped him with you. He listens when I speak of you, Michael. He listens so well.
God!
God, I want your commiseration. Your life, it's a dark tragedy. I yearn to mourn for it with you. Let us embrace it and mourn as friends.
It was a long time ago.
Time does not erase blood. Your boy awaits you. You want to make this right, oh Michael. I'm not here to take anything from you. I'm here to offer you reunion, restoration, a seat in the pit you dug. your proper place down there. There are no more masks. You will see your son. You can tell him the truth with your own tongue, burned clean of excuses. You deserve this agony, and in your heart, you desire it. It's not that easy, Michael. I know who you really are. I love who you really are.
No!
But Michael, I love you. But what about our podcast?
Father, I thought I saw him. I thought I saw him at church praying for me.
Mike, no matter what you think you saw, your son is real. Your son is real.